How's it going, YouTube? So I am starting my journey to Florida to see the launch of Artemis 1, currently targeting Monday, August 29 at 8:33 a.m. Eastern Time. It is 22 hours away, and that does not include breaks for food or for gas or especially for sleep. I'm also going to be losing an hour getting there, so I'm currently leaving at about 7 o'clock p.m. on Thursday, and my hope is to arrive at the Cape about maybe midnight on going into Saturday morning. They got a lot of stuff planned for us, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, come with me. Let's have some fun. So I just passed into Iowa, and as you can see, the sun is almost set. So I figure now's probably a good time to tell you a little bit about this. So this is going to be NASA's first rocket launch since the last space shuttle. This is the first launch of their brand new moon rocket called the Space Launch System, often called SLS, and sometimes called the Mega Moon Rocket. This mission is called Artemis 1. It's basically a dress rehearsal for humankind's return to the moon. Artemis 2 will have people on board, which is exciting. So Artemis 1 is going to be a big shakeup of the rocket, make sure everything works properly. It's going to send a spaceship called Orion around the moon, and then it'll come back to Earth to make sure that it works properly, make sure that it's safe for humans to get into next time. I've been looking forward to this mission for years and years and years, ever since before the space shuttle ended, honestly. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge space nerd. I love space exploration. It's my number one passion more than anything else in the world, and it's a dream come true to be able to go and watch the launch of Artemis 1 in person, essentially as a guest of NASA. I can't believe that it's actually happening like that. There will be a lot more to talk about as we get closer, but humankind is about to return to the moon, and it starts with this mission, and I get to see it. And I'm excited. I'm super, super excited. Not necessarily excited for the next 24 hours of my life driving there, but it'll be totally worth it, and a story for me to share with everyone later, so that's what matters, right? So if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that this is not my first rocket launch that I have attended as a member of NASA Social. This is actually going to be my third rocket that I will see launch in person. Technically, it's my fourth rocket launch that I've attended, but there was one that I went to that was delayed by a day, and I wasn't able to see it. I had to go home because I flew. Which is the whole reason why I'm driving right now, because even though it's a full day drive from Nebraska to Cape Canaveral, at least while I'm there in my own car, I don't have to worry about rearranging hotels or plane tickets or anything like that. So if SLS does get delayed to its September 2 or September 5 backup date, I'm all set. Okay, it is now 12:30 in the morning on Saturday, August 27, and I just pulled into a rest area about half an hour north of Kennedy Space Center, and I've decided to rest here for tonight. I'm going to crawl into my trunk now, which is free and safe, and try and sleep as much as I can in the next 6.5 hours, because I've got to be at Kennedy Space Center tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to get my sign-in complete and kick off the events of Artemis 1. So, good night. Good morning from Kennedy Space Center, and the beginning of our NASA social event leading up to the launch of Artemis 1. Hard to see, but that right there is the SLS rocket that'll be launching Artemis 1 in just 42 hours and 36 minutes from now. It's crazy to think that we're actually here. This is actually happening. I can't believe it. I'm super excited. Oh man, you can feel the energy from everyone here. There's 100 social media influencers here. I'm so nervous I can't even talk straight. That's how excited I am. We are currently inside the vehicle assembly building, the largest single-story building in the world. Absolutely ginormous. And you want to know the kicker? Where I am now, this is the shortest part of the building. You can see there, it gets really, really tall there in the back. This is absolutely crazy how tall this is. Always impressive to come here and be able to look around and stuff. Oh man. If you ever get the chance to come in and see this for yourself, I highly recommend it. This is so iconic and so breathtaking. All right, this is the high bay that the SLS rocket was assembled at before it went out. You see those two giant doors? It went out there to the launch pad. It's incredibly tall. I can't get much closer than this for safety reasons, but man, that's amazing. This, the new moon rockets are assembled right here. The next rocket that'll send people to the moon will be assembled in this very area just like a year and a half from now. It's just nuts to think about. This is the crawler. This is the vehicle that moves the rockets from the vehicle assembly building to the launch pad. Just a week ago, this moved Artemis 1 out to its launch pad in preparation for its launch tomorrow morning. And this is not my first time coming up to one of these things, but it's still always so incredible to see it. This thing weighs over 6 million pounds. Insane. I gotta say, it's very surreal to be here right now. The fact that there's a moon rocket behind me that is less than 2 days away from launch. The fact that I am here this close, and that I will be this close, if not a little closer, on launch day for one of the most historic moments that I have ever witnessed in person thus far. It's very hard to properly explain how I feel right now, except that I'm incredibly blessed and lucky to be here. And I am really going to have to come up with the proper words later when it's all over to describe it. I keep finding myself looking back there and taking a peek at it. I mean, it's a moon rocket. It's 322 feet tall. And it's about to send a spaceship to the moon, built for humans. And the next time that one of these goes, there will be people on board. And it's hard for me to properly articulate how exciting and surreal this is. It feels like I'm in a dream right now, that this isn't really happening, and maybe it'll continue feeling that way for as long as I'm here. All I know is that I am thrilled, and I am super, super lucky to be here. We are at the remote camera setup area for Artemis 1, which is right there. I think at this point it's about a mile away, something like that. This is as close as we're going to get in terms of being able to get out of the bus and look at it. And it is amazing up close. It's enormous. A 322-foot rocket is nothing to scoff at. I mean, it's almost as tall as the Saturn V. So it's just crazy to be this close to it and to see it. And I just can't help but remember how fortunate and how blessed I am to be in this situation right now. How lucky am I to be this close to history? And it's hard to articulate my words still. It really is. I keep looking at it in wonder and in awe, knowing that in less than a day now, I'm going to be going to the moon. And that I'm standing here this close to it. And that's just, it's mind-boggling. And it's absolutely humbling and inspiring. Take a look at the screen behind me. These are various camera angles at the launch pad and a few other places, and this is real time. So everything you see here is what it looks like at the pad right now, this very instant, which is absolutely insane. Hard to believe that we're under 20 hours away now from launch. Look at this. Look at this beautiful rocket. This is going to be really amazing when it does launch.
I want to start you off with the news of the morning, I should say, as we just turned to midnight, or rather midnight. The mission management team just met and gave a go to proceed with tanking for the Artemis 1 mission.
Good morning on launch day. It is currently about 3:38 in the morning, approximately 5 hours left until the launch of Artemis 1. They're currently busy fueling it up. They've encountered some kind of a hydrogen leak, or signs of a hydrogen leak at the beginning of fueling. I really hope that they get that figured out, because right now weather is looking great. We got a whole lot of people here ready to see this launch, and I really, really hope that they can get everything figured out so that we can launch today.
6:25 Eastern Time, T-minus 1 hour and 37 minutes and counting. We're tracking another issue, which is some frost formation that appears in a line on the flange of the inner tank. That's currently being looked at and evaluated. No word yet on what that might be.
It is now 7 a.m. They have finished fueling the rocket, but a lot of other issues have cropped up that may or may not cancel the launch today. We'll have to end up seeing whenever that happens.
This is Artemis Launch Control with an update. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell-Thompson has called a scrub for today.
It is officially a launch scrub. They were unable to fix the engine, and they've decided to postpone the launch until Friday. So I've got a few days to kill now, which is fine, perfectly fine. That's why I drove here, so that I'm ready in case there was a scrub. So I guess I'm going to spend the rest of the day sleeping, because I did not sleep at all last night. Tomorrow I'll hit up Kennedy Space Center and kill time for the next few days until Friday. Behind me is the space mirror, which has the names of astronauts who have died in the pursuit of space exploration. It's absolutely enormous, it's incredibly beautiful, and I think I speak for everyone when I say I hope we never have to add another name to this ever again. So here we go, guys, a Saturn V rocket at Kennedy Space Center. There's only two in the world, one's at Kennedy Space Center, the other's at Johnson Space Center in Houston, which I have seen many times, but believe it or not, this is actually my first time seeing this one. The new SLS rocket, the one that Artemis 1 is using, is just a little shorter than this. I'll actually show you exactly where it comes up to if the Saturn V and the SLS were stacked next to each other. You see the pointy thing there at the top, that's part of the launch abort system, and that's the absolute tallest point of the rocket. The launch abort system on the SLS comes up to right there, the point where the command module and the service module on the Apollo spacecraft joined. So basically, this SLS goes up to that high if they were stacked next to each other. That should give you an idea of how ginormous the SLS is. So I'm in the back of the Saturn V Center right now, and wouldn't you know it, there is an amazing view of Launch Pad 39B right now with the SLS still on there. Really wish that could have gone off yesterday, but it is rocket science. It's called that for a reason. That's Pad 39A over there. That's what SpaceX uses. You know what's interesting? The first few times I visited here, the visitor center, it really felt like it was more of a day trip. Definitely enough to see in a day, but not much beyond that. I gotta say, they have added so much and made it so much more accessible to the general public. It really feels like this could be sort of a 2-day thing, or even maybe an annual pass thing if you know that you're going to be visiting the area more than just 2 or 3 times a year. It's really fascinating to see just how much more there is here than I am used to seeing. It's really awesome. I am inside the Gateway Pavilion now, which is brand new. This was not here the last time I was here, and this might be the most exciting part of Kennedy Space Center because you get to see a lot of current and future hardware that is going to be sending people into space. So if we were to look right above me, as a matter of fact, you see that is a flown Falcon 9 first stage. There's only like 3 in the world that are on public display. One's here, one's at Houston, and one is at SpaceX's headquarters in California. So that's pretty exciting. Let me go ahead and show you some other stuff here. Here is SpaceX's Dragon capsule. They use Crew Dragon and Dragon 2 now, but this is what Dragon used to look like. This here is Boeing's Starliner, which will start sending people into space as early as next February. That up there is a mock-up of Dream Chaser, which is a crewed spaceplane that'll start flying uncrewed resupply missions to the station next year in the year 2023. This right here is the Orion spacecraft. That's the one that is on top of the SLS rocket right now at the launch pad. Now this right here has actually flown into space. Even though Artemis 1 is the first of the Artemis missions, there was an Orion that flew into space in 2014, and this is it. And of course we got the model of Artemis 1 right now of the SLS rocket. I mean, I've been up close and personal with it, so this doesn't compare, but it's very nice that it's here for everyone to look at. They just made the announcement. They're going to target Saturday, September 3rd for the next launch attempt. That is 4 days from now. So what I am going to do is I am going to drive to my cousin's house somewhere else in Florida and crash there for the next few days. And I'll pick this vlog up Saturday morning. I had prepared for this possibility of being here for this long. I'm prepared to be here all the way until next Tuesday if necessary. Just a matter of killing time, I have to say. This has been a very, very wild adventure. I had hoped to be halfway home by now, but I'm not. But here I am, and I'm still perfectly happy, and I'm still excited for the launch. You know what I'm more excited for? Spending the next few days in a house with a bed and a shower that I have access to. I've had to wash my hair in the sink at the rest area, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll check back in with you guys Saturday. See you then.
This is Artemis Launch Control. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson just called a scrub for the launch attempt today, the second launch attempt.
Well, NASA has decided that they're kind of giving up on trying to launch Artemis 1 during this launch window. So their plan is to roll the rocket back to the vehicle assembly building, work on it for a while, and then roll it back out sometime in the middle of October. What this means for me is that I am welcome to go back as many times as necessary until it finally gets off the pad. So however long that takes, however many attempts, I'm welcome. I am invited to go back for all of those. But right now, it just means that my time is done here in Florida. Part of me feels like this might have been a wasted trip because nothing happened. But I already know very well that that is not the case, that this trip was absolutely worth it. I was able to meet so many people and learn so much about this, and hey, when it does launch, I'll be there to see it. So this trip definitely was not a waste. Frustrating, yes, because it didn't launch, but it is a brand new rocket. It is rocket science. So now all that's left is to go home and get on top of my content as much as possible and be ready to go back when that's done, when that's ready. Okay, let's do this again, shall we?
Welcome, and thank you for joining us live at Kennedy Space Center, where the energy here is palpable as we attempt to make history today.
Okay, we are now, as you can see behind me, T-minus about 2.5 hours, give or take. We got a built-in hold that isn't accounted for, but it is launch day. And let me tell you, I'm pretty confident right now because NASA has completely fueled up the rocket. You can see it right there. They have actually fixed the fueling problems and it's all filled up. And at this point, there's no problems whatsoever, and it's looking very likely that as soon as the launch window opens at 1:04 a.m., less than 3 hours from now, that this thing is going to actually go. So behind me is astronaut Doug Wheelock. And somebody was asking him, does he ever feel imposter syndrome? And it kind of made me feel, look at me right now. I am standing here as close to the rocket as is humanly possible, listening to an astronaut just talk about all the stories he has of traveling in space with the world's most powerful rocket behind me, and been here for hours and still got a few hours left in the countdown, and just kind of hit me. Yeah, imposter syndrome. What am I doing here? This is as close to a dream come true as is possible for me. Like, I may not be an astronaut, but man, it sure feels like I almost am one right now. Just all the stuff going on right here. I'm having a hard time putting it into words how surreal and humbling it is.
On behalf of all the men and women across our great nation who have worked to bring this hardware together to make this day possible, and for the Artemis generation, this is for you. At this time, I give you a go to resume count and launch Artemis 1.
Okay, I know it's impossible to see me, but we are in the terminal count. We are less than 10 minutes away, and I am going to be recording the rocket with 3 different cameras here. I'm going to be recording my reaction, so, oh man, it's happening. It's really happening.
GLS go for core stage to internal power.
The rocket's core stage, which houses the 3 flight computers, is now on battery power.
We're about a minute away. We're anywhere from a minute to a few seconds away.
Sound suppressor water now flowing
15.
under the ML. And here we go.
10.
Hydrogen burn-off igniters initiated. 7, 6, 5. Core stage engine start.
Oh!
3, 2, 1. Boosters in ignition. And liftoff of Artemis 1.
Oh! Oh, it's so bright! There it goes! Go Artemis! Oh my God! Here it comes! Here it comes! Oh my God! It's brighter than the sun! Oh my God! Oh! I'm covering my ears! I wish I could describe to you exactly what it was like. The rocket was at its brightest, almost as bright as the sun. And at its loudest, I had to peel away from my cameras to cover my ears. I could still feel the waves of the sound thumping against my chest. I can still feel the excitement from the crowd. I can still hear the people from miles away cheering enthusiastically. I can still marvel at the sight of the rocket peeling away from the pad and going off over the horizon and fading out because of the atmosphere long before the first stage shut down. I am having a very hard time putting into words what this felt like. This was an historic launch for sure. This is by far the biggest and most amazing thing that I have seen in person from NASA. And it's amazing to think that the very next time that one of these happens, there will be people on board and they'll be going to the moon. For all of the delays and for all of the scrubs that happened, it was a flawless launch, and it needed to be, and it was. For all of the driving I did, for all of the second guessing I had, for all the times where I wondered if it was even worth it for me to go and try and see it happen, I have no regrets now. It was so worth it, and it was so beautiful, and all I can think of now is I would go through that many scrubs and that much wasted time all over again just to see the next one. Well, it's time for me to go home and edit this video. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I couldn't be happier. I am so thankful to God, and I am so humbled that I have gotten to do this, that I got to be the closest person in the world to the launch of a brand new rocket that will take people back to the moon. Just a few short years away from that happening now. Alright, that'll bring this video to an end. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more. And go Artemis.